Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is your Screenwriter's Rant on National Anthem, a movie about trans cowboys. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Heart in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 14, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So, yeah, that's what, there's the still right there that summarizes it all. It's about trans people and rodeo life because, you know, the Brokeback Mountain wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Gay cowboys, that's so 2015. We've got trans cowboys now. Who's this movie for? What is it going to explore? It feels to me like they're just taking trans people and sticking them in places where they think, oh, this will piss everybody off. That's all it feels like. It doesn't feel necessary in the slightest. Even the trailer's confusing because on the one hand, he's dating a trans girl who's obviously very feminine, but then he's also, I guess, transitioning himself while he also has problems with his mom. Wouldn't it make more sense to portray the character as being either A, super into the trans girl, right? And they just have a normal romance, so to speak, between a guy and a guy who's being trans. Or wouldn't it make more sense for him to have a good home life so you could portray trans people as like, oh, see, they're just like you and me. You're sort of baking it in that he's got all these issues and that's why he's confused. Why would you bake that into the drama if that were the case to show trans people in a good light? Instead, you kind of end up doing the opposite by throwing out all this drama, and it's just full of, I guess you would say, tropes about trans people. Also, is there really a gay rodeo group going around? I guess there probably is somewhere. Is that a thing? I find it hard to believe it's a big thing, but I guess it exists somewhere. Or is this just like Hollywood taking something like that and blowing it up to something that is more or it's less prevalent in real life, but in the movie you could pretend like it's super big? So Charlie Plummer plays the lead. He's a young man, he's working, and he falls in love with a trans girl. First act, meets her, falls in love. Second act, he's having drama with his mother, who's going out and getting railed, I guess. Continues the romance, joins a gay rodeo with a bunch of other gay people, and they apparently have an orgy, which doesn't seem normal or healthy. If the kid is having problems and trying to find his way in the world, I think the last thing he would need is an orgy, but there you go. So, orgy. Are they trying to normalize orgies, gay orgies? The whole movie just seems like, I don't know what planet this is from. And you might say, well, it doesn't speak to you. You're not gay. So then that would be more evidence that it's only for a tiny slice of an audience that doesn't exist in enough numbers to even make this damn movie. So if you're talking about a movie that's for a trans audience, you're talking about a few thousand people at best. At best, assuming even trans people have the time or inclination to go to the movies anymore. These days, few people do, so you're talking about a very tiny slice. You know, it'd be like sitting down and making a movie about, I don't know, people who drive a horse and buggy. Like, they exist. There are people who still drive horse and buggy all over the place, all over the country. There are thousands of them. That's not enough to make to justify the existence of a movie that's only for them, that's mostly catered to them. It has to have a bridge. If you want to show this world to people, you have to bridge the gap. There doesn't appear to be anything to bridge the gap, right? They're so tone deaf about their own situation. They're like, well, you have to accept this. Here it is. Did you learn nothing from Bros? Nothing from Bros? One of the actors is from Bros, by the way. Apparently not. Apparently you learned nothing from Bros. Just going to make another Bros. Oh, this one's a drama. What happens at the end? I don't know. I guess he transitions and then everybody becomes even more gay. Is that a movie? Is that something that we're waiting to see? I mean, this kind of stuff is hammered in the media. But there's just not an audience for it. Like, the kind of audience that this would be for would be a one-off movie, one time. Like, one movie in 5 years. Maybe it would be an art house. Maybe it would be Oscar bait. Maybe. That's the level of population. Or you would include a character about like this, you know, if it was relevant to the plot in some way. This has so many. This movie's got so many gay characters. Like, I don't even know what it is. You're talking about a gay rodeo. Oh, he joins a gay rodeo. Queer rodeo, as they call it. What is that? You're telling me that's a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing. It's like saying, like, he joins the queer electricians union. Is that a thing? A queer electricians union? It might be a thing. I'm not knocking it if it's a thing, but like, it would be news to me if there were a queer electricians union and there were a bunch of queer guys in it. It would just be like, wow, didn't know that. So you gotta, if you're gonna introduce people to this world, you at least gotta, like, introduce them, or not just assume, like, oh, you get it. We've been pumping so much gay into movies and media. You gotta get this. Who wants to see it? How many times are you going to make a movie like this and nobody goes to see it, and then what? Or only the art house crowd sees it. Like, this is an art house movie, and this isn't even one I'm interested in. Would I take a date to this? No. Just be like, nah, I don't want to see that. It's not a movie. I would have to be dating the hottest biological girl on the planet to be dragged to this thing. I'm like, all right, I'll go. It's not, who's it for? You know, you're so far off the map in terms of audience desires at this point. It's just one movie after another, and you just marvel at how much money and time and effort people just keep wasting on this stuff. You know, you're not even showing us anything new. Okay, it's a romance. Okay. You know what gay people love more than anything? Romance movies from like the 50s. And they couldn't be more straight. Even though half of them starred gay guys. They love it. They love the aesthetic and everything else about it. You don't need to gay up everything just to appeal to them. You just don't. You're pandering to an audience so hard. You've pandered way past it. This is for, you know who this movie's for? It's for movie executives who are obsessed with being woke. That's who it's for. They're patting themselves on the back and going to each other's movies. And, oh, aren't we great? Oh, we're so wonderful. We're wonderful people for doing this movie. That's who this movie's for, in my view. No, I'm not going to go see this. Nah. Let's read the write-up. It's called National Anthem for reasons, I don't know. Did you just decide, Oh, what's a word or a phrase we haven't gayed up yet? Oh, how about the national anthem? Oh yeah, let's call it that. Like, is that why? Because it has nothing to. What does it have to do with the national anthem? A 21-year-old construction worker in New Mexico joins a community of queer rodeo performers in search of their own version of the American dream. Like, no one is stopping people from living their lives, living their truth. Really not. But okay. I guess it's going to be another movie that, comes out and disappears. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out from Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. If you can find a more base take than that, I say, take it. I will be at the Flemington Book Fair tomorrow from 10 to 6 for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. And then I'll be doing a live stream where we do it live. So if you've seen this video and you want to yell at me, it's a perfect time to do it. Starts at 9 tomorrow night. We'll see you tomorrow.